The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party.
Nice work, Rick.
Thank you. Came in right on cue.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
Nailed
You
it.
know why?
Why?
You've done a lot of shows.
You know what?
How many shows have we done?
Oh, before we have John Ternullo on this very special event today.
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell our
Special
audience.
guest for a special event.
Yes.
That's right. Go
But
ahead.
when we say special, we mean special.
How many shows have we done? 10?
I'm going
20?
to say 30 or 40.
John, you guess.
50?
Kathy?
199.
Close enough. You're the winner. 200 shows.
Shows.
It was
Good job, guys.
Sure.
confetti
John's
in
helped
the-
us.
John has helped us. 200 shows.
Apparently, to mark the occasion, you get a crystal phallus.
And I'm
Symbol,
gonna sing.
right?
I'm going to sing for everyone. No.
It won't look like
That's
singing.
pretty good.
It won't look like
show.
singing.
It won't. It wouldn't
won't
look
look
like
like
singing.
Okay,
Not with
okay,
a crystal
okay.
phallus. No.
Trigger.
No. Trigger.
Trigger warnings.
Yes.
All right, John
Well,
Ternullo's-
congratulations.
That is pretty
200
cool.
shows and
All right,
we're
good
still
job.
here.
Good
Nice
job.
work.
Good
I
job,
know,
John. Thank
and,
you for being a part of it. That's
Here,
awesome.
Tony.
That just says to me there's 3 or 4 people with nothing to do on a Tuesday afternoon. That's what
I
that
have
says.
things to do.
I know you have a
I
hair
know.
appointment.
And we always say that. We're going to rush along the show.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have a hair appointment.
hair
Although it
appointment.
doesn't go any faster,
If
we're
you
still
rush-
here the same amount of time.
I know.
We got a lot to talk
A
about.
lot.
So what should we start with?
Well, we do have to give tribute to one of the greats.
He broke my heart
I know.
Saturday morning.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy
passed.
Buffett.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this. His the casket rim salted.
Nice. And honestly, like,
Too soon?
You know, when people say that to me, I go, it doesn't matter. There's no degrees of dead.
and honestly, like, he lived a pretty awesome life for 76
life.
years.
Oh my God.
You didn't
He
hear
not-
about his upbringing, though. He was eating seeds to get by when he originally
So was Huckleberry Finn. You know, whatever.
So weren't you in the streets
I
of
know.
Winchester?
No, I
You had to
know.
live.
You know, he was worth $980 million.
You know who
Good for
ran
his
you know who
wife.
Yeah.
ran his money?
Oh, what?
Good for his wife.
Good for his wife. Yes.
You know
a
who
lot
ran
of
it?
margaritas.
Yeah.
Gonna miss you, Jimmy.
Can I have another one?
Warren Buffett's
He
wife
Oh, yeah.
ran his money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they related?
Yeah, no, he owns
No,
cities. He owns Margaritaville.
I know.
No, I
there
know,
are
everywhere.
retirement
I know.
communities, and I take nothing away from that.
But the thing is, he never had to wear shoes.
No.
And, like, he honestly, his voice was just...
No,
you know,
don't say that.
No. He was
He was a legend.
He was a legend.
Takes more than just a
It was
yeah,
more
yeah.
He was
of
a
what
great
he
poet.
brought. It's more of what he brought to his concerts was like
Yeah, it was,
fun.
it was a
and-
movement. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for once, you could feel like a teenager again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
like
shots
on
off
vacation.
bodies.
Yeah, you're
right.
yeah.
constant vacation.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and it didn't end when you were young. You know,
Right.
I mean, he kept
Right.
it going for people who, you know, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere.
you would
Yeah.
see cars driving to Foxborough with fins hanging out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
windows.
yeah, yeah. People,
and-
yeah.
Do you think
And
they
they-
should grow up at all, or is it
No,
still okay?
I thought it was great. Swimming pools, beaches.
Yeah.
You know, just
A lot
just,
of nudity at his
Yeah.
shows.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, God. No
And
wonder
not
he
on
had
the
such
people you want to see nude necessarily.
Right. Maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we loved Jimmy
I was a little
Buffett.
Excuse me, ma'am. You might trip over that.
I went to Zach Brown the other night. The night he died, I was a little disappointed in Zach Brown's band because Jimmy Buffett kind of
Yeah, they did. I know they did a song together.
Yeah, they did a song
No,
together.
but he was
Integral and
instrumental in getting Zach Brown
going.
they were kind
famous.
of fledgling along, and Jimmy Buffett took it under his
They
wing.
opened
and,
for him and
Yeah,
stuff.
opened
Yeah,
for him, and
yeah,
all of a sudden
yeah.
they're huge.
Yeah, he used to
corporates.
fly planes. He was an avid surfer. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he really lived his life.
Right.
And, you know, that is the mark of a fine life.
Greatest song, one of the greatest songs of all time, Migration.
I knew you were going to say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, good song.
You won't listen to it, though, will you? I say
I think it was on my playlist this weekend.
Come Monday.
come Monday.
Migration.
Yeah, come Monday.
Talk-
old
talk-
55, a real old song of his.
Yeah,
It's
and
great.
the son of a sailor,
yeah.
and
the volcano song.
Volcano song.
is great.
Maybe we can all give one
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Yeah.
Migration.
Okay.
Top-
There's another song he sang. Did he steal
He's
it?
blowing that off all the time.
Yeah.
I've been telling her for years that
Did
Migration.
he steal it from Creedence Clearwater?
Jimmy Buffett didn't steal any songs
Any-
from
Oh,
him.
all right. Then that. Like, what about Brown Eyed Girl? Is that his?
No, he covered it. That's
That's not stealing.
That's
No,
not
it's
Vince
covering.
Van Morrison.
That's covering.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Originally sang that, and
Southern Cross. Who sings that?
I mean, he covered it. Doesn't mean you're
Southern
stealing
Cross
it. Crosby,
is
Stills, Nash.
Right,
Crosby,
okay.
Stills, and
I knew
Nash.
that.
And
Right.
sometimes young.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Sometimes. Yeah.
stealing it though if you cover it.
All right. Tit for tat today.
Anyway,
Tomato.
Tomato.
it's noted that he was a unique and great individual and
A wonderful
entertained
entertainer.
Millions of people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Barry Manilow, but again,
No. He was right up there, though, with Barry. So. A different kind of like.
he was no.
Okay.
Don't bring
all
it
right.
up. Don't say Billy Joel.
I was going to say it,
Don't
but
say
still.
Billy Joel.
Yes. Yeah. People.
So anyway, so it was
Anyway.
a kind of a sad,
So sad.
sad
I know.
for New
So
England.
everyone had a good Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
psyched to come back to work today.
I did not
Wow.
labor.
You didn't labor
I
at all.
didn't labor. I barely labor anyway.
You sent
so-
me a text, but told me not to labor about it.
Yeah, don't labor about
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah. He was worried about.
I had to
putting-
call my plumber on Labor Day to schedule something. I go, sorry to disturb your Labor Day. And he calls me back. He goes, "I'll cut the shit."
You're not sorry at
You're
all.
not sorry at all, but I knew you were going to apologize. What do you want? And I go, that's the guy you want to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It- without
You're
a
a
doubt.
plumber. You got to be expecting those
Right,
24-hour a day calls.
Yeah, because you could charge triple.
Sure.
I went away with the Sabatellis and the Carters, my brother and sister. You know what the best thing about going away with your family is?
Coming home.
Yes.
Yeah. Leaving them somewhere. Yes.
Your family understanding that there's other dysfunctional families out there as well. So
You know, is there not a, I mean,
No, that's
does,
what I mean.
Does a not dysfunctional family exist?
no.
No. Every time they get in the car together, everyone
Right.
starts screaming at
Oh,
each
yeah.
other about whether to take a left or a right, but it's all going to get you to the same place. And
We literally took 7 separate cars.
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
not
pathetic.
I'm not exaggerating.
That's pathetic.
Good.
For how
Yeah.
many people? 7?
yeah,
Where'd you go?
We went to the Margate at Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, one night I left to come home, make sure my daughter's dog was doing well, and I was trying to get back on time so no one would notice me, so being gone. But
So you left unannounced and
Yep.
thought you were going to get back without anyone
Noticing.
noticing you.
but guess what?
Did they notice?
No, he was
really.
successful.
I don't know what is more pathetic, if you go unnoticed or noticed.
Can I tell my Arizona story then? If we're doing this,
do we have enough time?
Sure.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
All right, we'll do Arizona, and then we'll.
And then
we got
we'll-
some-
yeah.
We got
a lot of real estate
lot of
questions.
real estate.
So-
oh my God, and that's actually earlier than we would normally do. Go
So
ahead.
our title insurance company was sending the attorneys to Arizona for a great like golf weekend,
Yeah.
right? It was like Thursday to Sunday, or Thursday to Monday, or whatever it was.
Yep.
Rick, we cleared his schedule. We got people to cover for him, and off he goes from Boston to Arizona. It was like right kind of when cell phones were starting. You know, you
Yep.
had a cell phone, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
But he lands and he goes, "Is everything going good at the office?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's great." And then he calls back like 2 hours later, and I could hear the background that it sounded like an airport.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where are you?" And he goes, And when he does that, I know that he's thinking up a lie for
Right.
me.
No, that's not true.
Right.
It's,
So he goes,
it's going to be the truth, but it takes me a little while to get it out.
to strategize on how
Right.
you're going to tell me.
How to broach it, yeah.
So he goes, I go, "Were you at the airport?" He's like, "Yeah."
This is like
I
an
go,
hour
"Wait,
after flying in.
More than an hour after. And I go, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Going home." I go, "Why?" And he goes, "I want to catch Renee's soccer game."
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice
So
story.
I'm literally at the check-in there, and
Right.
there's one girl checking me in, and they're so pleasant, and another girl over here who's telling you the itinerary. So while one person's checking you in, the other one's over here say you could do horseback riding, you could do golf, you could do this, and this, and they're all with a bunch of attorneys.
Yeah.
So none of them are great idea. So the girl looks at me and she goes, "What would you like to do?" I go, "You know what I'd really like to do?" She goes, "What?" I said, "I'd like to go to my daughter's soccer game." She goes, "Well, when's the soccer game and where's it at?" I
He's
go,
like 7 o'clock.
"Yeah, it's in a few hours. It's in Boston." And the girl didn't know what to do with
No,
me.
of course not.
So the other girl, "All right, what would you like?" She's very
keep
hung
going.
in there,
Sure,
hung in there.
yeah.
And I
So-
said, "Now I'm definitely want to go. I want to
No,
go."
you left.
I
so
left.
fast
You just
forward.
walked
and I didn't tell a lot of
He
people.
didn't tell
I
it.
left.
Right. So as far as they know, you were there.
Yeah, I was there doing one of the events.
Right. You got to be doing the other event.
So my poor law partner at the time calls like a couple days later and says, calls my wife, says, and he didn't want to really rat me out in case like I had another family out there or something like that.
Sure, you went to get a little.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes, "How's everything going?" He says to my wife.
I'm choking.
She goes, "Fine. What's up?" She goes, "How's Rick doing?" He goes, "Fine." And he finally said, "I haven't. How's he doing?" He goes, "He's doing fine. You want to talk to him? He's right here." So that's it to
That was it.
Arizona.
All right.
All right. Real estate.
Dad of the year.
Yeah, exactly. One of the best sporting events I've ever been to.
I can imagine.
She just got into the big field.
How old was she at the time?
So just that age where they jump on from the little field to the big field.
Yeah.
And she got the only goal in the game.
Oh,
And I
nice.
said, if I had hung around with all the attorneys, I think I would have been disappointed about
Yeah,
it.
you would
But
have.
back
Anyway.
to some real estate.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know that.
That's not a fake choke.
It's very...
Do you need us?
Is it because of the emotional story? All right, no jokes while we're talking.
Should we execute your will? Okay.
All right, John, we
Good.
have a
Yeah.
lot of... First of all, just the State of the Nation address. What's going September? What are you seeing out there now? Usually Tony does this for us.
Yeah.
But we're going to give... What are you seeing? Still buyers are out there.
Buyers are out there.
Sellers are still out there.
Sellers are out there.
Prices aren't going down at all.
Nope. It's
So-
the day after Labor Day, so we expect to see some. I expect to see some listings come on over the next few weeks.
Next couple of weeks.
You know.
What's interest doing?
Interest rates are last I checked, between 7 and 7.5%.
Yep.
Jeez.
So they're still.
Potentially going up a little bit more.
They could go up more?
Potentially. Which is all the economists said they were going to be coming down to the fives right about now.
Right.
Well,
Yeah. No, we were going to ask you, dude. We just didn't want to give a lot of attention to you there. So
some people are suggesting that by next year they should go down a little bit, and we
You're right.
may see them in the high fives.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
well, if it's in the
that's-
high fives, that'd be fine.
Hopefully that happens. We'll see.
Right. 'Cause
We may
no
get a
one
little
really knows.
refinance boom there if the market stays steady, right? Little cash out.
Yeah.
So you're hoping
Sure.
for a few listings this week now that people have done their Labor Day events and all that.
Yeah,
So
hopefully we'll see some. I mean, it will still. I mean, we still have very little amounts of inventory out there, so it's not going to really make a big dent into anything. But
Right.
just the ebbs and flows.
So
we are
what's-
now at the start of the fall market.
what is the ultimate? I mean, I know they adjust interest rates to somehow help control the economy, correct?
Correct.
How? What's the desired effect of doing this? He said, with a serious question in his
Well,
voice.
Rick, you may be able to answer that question better than I am, but
He's a real estate agent.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like an economist question.
Right.
Okay.
That's
say
not,
it-
that's
say it-
not
say
a
it-
curveball.
Say it again. I was making sure she had the water in there. I didn't.
What's the desired effect of raising the rates? How does it help the
But I do
economy?
believe-
Raising the rates, they're trying to curb inflation. They
Okay.
thought inflation was getting out of control, so they kept raising the prime to bring in. That's
Yeah, but
And
to
they're
keep
currently
it under
around 3 or something, trying to get it down to about 2.
2.
Yeah.
I see.
So that was the overall effect of it. They were trying to curb inflation because the rates were so low you could buy anything. It was getting crazy, But I think
I don't
price-
think that it's a
And that creates-
real effective tool, though.
It doesn't seem it.
It's
Is
right,
what I'm
right,
saying.
right.
It seems like
from the
people
from
find
the
a way
layperson,
around
right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
So
Instead,
all
they
it's-
raised eggs and butter
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything
But
across.
then the other effect on that too is the economy, and real estate has a huge effect on.
Right,
Exactly.
because generally
Overall.
speaking,
Exactly.
it's the
so I'm
largest
surprised
purchase.
the economy isn't really reeling
Exactly.
right about now because
It's pretty bad,
I'm
though.
convinced real estate, almost covered up a lot of problems we had during COVID.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because
real estate saved COVID,
That's what I'm
saved the economy,
Yeah,
the
I
whole
think so.
economy.
Because people were refinancing, rates were so low, taking some money out, buying stuff.
Or if they were they refinanced and then they may have gotten laid off during COVID
Yeah,
and they had
that's some money.
cash
A
to
little
spend
cash.
to put
Yeah,
back
yeah,
into
yeah.
the economy.
But now I am a little concerned. I mean, rates are high, and the economy I don't think is doing great. And
Well, I mean, the demand. I mean, there's pent-up demand, I think, for buyers and sellers out there right now in the housing economy. So
right,
that's
right,
almost like just. I feel like there's
right,
holding that back.
Back,
And if
yeah.
interest rates did come
Right,
down,
right.
that may
right.
May
release the
help.
flood.
Well, right,
the
because
floodgates and let.
The cause and effect is
Correct.
that the seller would like to sell their house at that
Highest.
the high market value, but then where do they go?
Exactly.
Because you got to rebuy. You got to live
Right.
somewhere.
So it seems
No, it's
like
a good point because
it seems like some buyers they kind of got over the sticker shock of the rates.
Right.
But the sellers
have not.
The sellers haven't yet.
Right.
Because they
Yeah.
still need to.
because a year ago their neighbor was getting $100,000 over their asking price, getting 75 offers
Right.
put in, and that's
Right.
what they still
Well,
want.
prices are still high, but then
Right.
the big question is, it's like, all right, so then I'd like to move, but where
do I
am
go?
Where do I go?
Right,
And if you're going to
right.
rent, the rental
high.
market is pretty much non-existent. I mean, there's not a lot of available
rent.
units.
I don't know. They're building these monstrosities.
Yeah,
everywhere.
but for
Someone's
like
gotta live.
$4,000 a month,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could have
yeah.
a mortgage,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
not
like-
really, or
yeah.
maybe not.
Like my situation, I'm locked in at high 2.
So
Yeah.
you're never moving.
So I'm never.
You're going to die there, Tony.
soon, I hope.
Wow.
There's a lot of talk about death on this episode.
yeah.
Was it the Barry Manilow joke?
No, what I mean is like you're never going to see that again.
No.
So that's
So
going to
then,
keep
right.
you
So
there.
if I sell and I want to stay in the city, now I got to buy a house at 7 plus.
So the money
Or
that you made,
Made is going to go to that.
Right.
Or, as we were talking the other day, which prompted the show, maybe some alternative
Correct.
financing. So,
Ah.
so that's
How would that happen?
Well, this is so what we're seeing is a lot of 30-year-olds, and I hope my 30-year-olds aren't watching and getting any of these ideas, but they're just because a lot of parents have stored up a ton of money because everything. In some areas,
Some
things are going
parents
well.
have.
Right.
Not-
but anyway,
Not all.
not
parents.
all. No,
Not
no
all
one,
of
no
us.
one on this panel.
No.
So don't be calling us.
No.
What did one broker tell me? She goes, "Oh yeah, I told my daughter, yeah, you have a trust fund. Trust me, you don't have a fund." So we're talking about financing between family members, things like that.
Right.
Obviously, advantages and disadvantages.
What are you thinking, John? Like the mother and father are living at the house. They want to get out,
Sell the house to the kid.
sell the house to the kids at market value with a decent interest rate.
Well, that or, a few years back, we've seen a lot of parents help out their kids just to get an offer accepted.
Yes.
So they may, so sometimes we had quite a few buyers that would put in an all-cash offer, with the help of their parents.
Right.
And then with all intentions of pulling out financing after all, they were just trying to help them.
Yeah, so explain that a little
Get
bit more.
into the market.
So in the offer, you would say it's a cash deal.
Well, so it seems like a few years back when things were bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some parents that would help out their kids by essentially saying, hey, we can cover you cash if needed. So we're able to put in an offer all cash,
Because, and I'll
Right.
back up even one more, because what you're saying is a lot of buyers were probably losing out
Because a
they had more
right.
contingencies in there. The
A
less
cash buyer
contingencies you had in
is the
there,
best.
the better. So if you had an appraisal in there, or you had subject to selling your house, or even a mortgage financing, they were getting blown out of the
They
water
were.
because
Right.
the other half of the people with offers in had no contingencies, no home inspection, no mortgage financing.
But that
no appraisal.
doesn't mean that like they have to go cash. They can apply for a mortgage.
That's correct.
You know what I
But-
mean? And if it falls through, if the mortgage
I'm gonna jump in
financing, they're
again.
still gonna have to buy the house with the cash.
Correct.
Can I jump in again? Make sure that goes into the purchase and sale.
Right.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So my next point is, though, we've also seen some home buyers out there that rather than getting an interest rate of 7.5%,
Right.
maybe rather than their parents, it may be a hard ask to ask their parents for
$500,000.
$800,000,
Right,
$750,000,
whatever
whatever
it is.
it is.
All of our kids
That
watching,
may
turn
be
it
a
off
hard
now.
ask.
That may be a hard ask. However, what may not be such a hard ask is if the parents finance become the lender for the kids.
Yes.
And then give them maybe a rate, whatever rate they agree to, but it could be 5, so maybe they could get a rate that's cheaper than what they would find elsewhere.
But how do you set your own rate if the rate is something higher than that?
It's a negotiable thing between the parent and the kid. Yeah. Like if
So
they're
the parents
well off,
take out the loan, basically.
No, the kids. Yeah, the kids take out the
The kids
loan
take out
through the
loan.
parents.
through the parents.
So
The parents is basically the lender.
The lender, I see.
So the benefit of this is that for the parents, they're helping out their kids.
Yeah,
But they're still making something off their money.
right.
And the kids are able to now move on with their life, whether they're starting a family, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And they can maybe afford a better house, considering their rate isn't whatever it is.
So there's a few
7.5%.
things to that. The advantages to the kids, obviously, is they probably don't have to go market for the interest rate, right? So instead of 7 or 8%, maybe
Right.
they get them 6%.
So they get more of a house too.
That's
right?
correct.
They-
So the advantage to the parents.
But who are you paying off? The parents?
Parents.
yeah,
correct.
the parents are going to come in with the money, the
Right.
mortgage money.
So you give the parents the money and then the parents pay the bank.
no.
No.
But
no
keep
bank
the
at all.
banks are out of it.
Oh, the banks are out of it
The
completely.
parents are the
Parents are the lender.
Why don't we all do this? Why do
Well,
we
do you
need
have
banks?
$700,000
Of
to give
course I
Gus?
in my front pocket.
Okay.
Come on.
Do you have parents that could borrow?
So to your distinction is so that we could talk about it later, but there's two things you're actually talking about: an actual loan from the parent, as opposed to, because in the past people used to do what's called, if like the parents were selling to the kids, they would give them a gift of equity.
Right.
But this is different because
This is
completely
They're
different.
not selling their house. They're maybe the kids are living in their basement or whatever. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
time
Right.
to like go buy a house.
So here it is how you have to
So
figure
how do you
out.
do that?
Yeah, so here is how you have to figure out what the interest rate. So the parents are probably going to have to, not have to, but they'll be getting a 5 or 6%.
Yeah, they're going to liquidate something to give them the cash.
And they
So-
might not be getting 5 or 6%. Maybe they're
Right.
just very conservative
Yeah, yeah.
funds, and so they're not getting it. They're not getting the 3% interest that they're getting on these conservative funds. The kids' advantage is they're not paying the 7 or 8%. Plus, they're not paying all the points and all the lender
closing
fees,
costs, yeah.
closing costs.
Right.
Plus, they can go in, as you're saying, to the buyer, to their seller, and say, listen, I have no mortgage financing clause. And then that means there's no appraisal clause either.
That's correct.
So the buyer should understand that. Whatever it appraises out, you're not even going to have an appraisal done. Whatever you're buying it is what it is.
Sure.
This
So-
may not come as a shock to anyone.
Yep.
I am completely confused.
All right. All you're doing is borrowing money from your parents.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
And how you
And the parents have this money
Yeah.
to lend.
assuming they have the money to
Assuming.
lend. How do you structure that?
How do you structure?
So
Yeah,
I think
right.
so ultimately, I think what the question is how do the parents officially, not other than doing it verbally, officially,
Right.
Right.
and
So
correctly
instead of going
lend.
to a lender, you're saying, Mom and Dad, you guys are going to be my lender now.
You have $800,000.
You have 800,000 sitting around.
Right.
So to John's point is, how do you memorialize that?
That's correct.
So what you're going to have to do is,
Well, there's a couple of ways you could do it.
and you got to, I guess the key thing is you got to do it. You can't be a handshake
I mean, the
deal.
parents could go on the mortgage. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, on the deed.
Yep.
Right.
Right?
So how
then-
would you do that?
So the buyers,
How would they take ownership?
well, they would take it as joint tenants.
Or maybe not. Maybe.
Or tenants in common,
Tenants in
depending
common.
on their situation.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they would own it with the kids, so the kids can't
So
do
if
a
the
home
kids are
with the
throwing in
equity.
10%, the parents are throwing in the rest. Maybe you give it to the parent and kid. You get 90%. You own 90%. The kid gets 10%. You could do it that way.
And depending what kind of relationship you have with your children and whatever, but we'd suggest this, is that the kids sign a promissory note
Yep.
to the parent,
Yep.
and then you'd record a mortgage
Right.
with the parents as the lender.
I don't want to bring this back to death, but the kid's going to get the house anyway eventually.
Maybe,
Right.
maybe not.
Right.
Oh.
Maybe
So
not.
that's actually a real good point, because maybe what you have to do is then you have to set up a separate agreement. But I do like the deed idea where I'm keeping 90% of it as a parent. You're going to get 10%. As you pay it off, maybe we increase that. But then if something happens, if that parent dies with tenants in common, it wouldn't go to the other person, right? Right.
It would go to the heirs.
Yeah, so then your kids, so you're trying to be fair to the other kids.
To
Maybe
the
you
other
have two or
kids.
three
Right,
others.
'cause if
Now,
you did-
is that so? By doing that, is that in lieu of, or would they still remain as a lien holder?
They would
You
still-
know, they would do all three steps.
three.
Would do deed, mortgage,
Yep.
promissory note.
And once the note is paid off, then what happens?
We discharge the mortgage.
And
Who owns what?
exactly?
then you would own it outright. If that's your agreement, whatever your agreement is, but you should have that agreement in place.
So
You
in
need
other-
a lawyer.
You need a lawyer. And you know who else you need is you do need to talk to a CPA because this is a little,
Yeah, there's
little
some- there's
caveat.
some tax-
You can't loan out at 1%. Well, you can, but then the parents might get knocked around.
Right,
a
with
little
Right,
the
with-
gift
so-
tax.
So
or-
there's an imputed interest amount that you should be charging. So it's going to be, and I'm not going to quote it because I'm not a CPA.
You don't know, right?
So you should talk to a CPA and say, listen, what interest rate should we do? So if it's in the mid 4s, you can't do 2%, or that parent might get charged that. So you want to take that into consideration when you're giving
So
an
I'm going to
interest rate.
circle back to John real quick. When you said when the loan is paid off, but right now the parents are still on the deed.
Correct.
So it would be part of the agreement would say when this loan is paid off, we're going to quit claim deed to you guys. So then that's a clean cut.
So what would be the first step if
The
if
first
we
step
had,
is
someone that wanted to buy a house, but they were getting financing.
So the
through
first step is
a
to
family
find
member.
out how they really want to structure it. Do the parents even want to be on the deed? A lot of them don't even want to be on the deed.
Well, right. So, but I've seen it both ways.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
Is,
That's
you know,
the first step.
depending on their relationship. You know what
Now,
I mean?
here's the obvious question. Is this at all legal?
Yes.
Why would you assume we're talking about stuff on the show that's not legal?
I don't know. It just seems like it would be done more.
Well, no one has the money.
I think a couple of things. I think part of the reason why we're talking about this is because a lot of times
People don't know.
people don't think about, hey, I can actually be the lender,
Right.
and help out.
Right.
You know, if you're helping out
So
your
you
kids,
don't need
and
any
you're-
special criteria to be a lender except money. All you have to do is have enough money.
No, that's a good point.
Right.
If you are doing it for a lot of people,
Right.
you might have to get
Yeah,
licensed.
you have to get a license.
And then
only for your kids, honey.
yeah.
You can only do it for your children.
No, you just can't keep lending money out to a whole
Hey,
bunch of
can
people.
I tell you a little loophole someone ran into the other day, which is not a loophole, but a problem. So, male had a kid with not wife, because that's important. But he was going to live separate. She was buying a house, and he was going to co-sign her. You know, he was trying to do the right thing, help her
The
buy a
dad
house.
was going to find.
Dad was going to finance mom's new purchase.
I see.
Even though they're not
co-signing
together.
a
But they're
note,
not
even though they're
together.
not together.
Are they friendly?
Very friendly.
Do they have?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know the answer to that question. They clearly
But-
did. They clearly
At
did
some
have
point,
it.
At
because
some
they have
point.
children.
Right.
So they have a child. So
Well,
he
we
was
don't know if that continues.
Right.
We don't know if that's an agreement.
We don't know anything
I'll buy you
about
a
that.
house
So at
if.
the last second.
Oh my God, that's like bribery.
Right.
Oh.
Okay, at the last second.
Go ahead. I'm just trying to look at this
Yeah.
from all angles.
That's a good idea. He was smart.
What town? What town you from?
Justin.
I don't want any connotation here, but you
what
were
are you
playing the
going on,
system
Chuck?
pretty good,
I'm
huh?
always looking at the angles. Always looking
Oh
at
my
the
God. So what happened?
Anyway,
Yeah.
at the last second, the girl was almost denied a loan. They said, "Well, what's that all about?" Says that a non-family member can't co-sign. There was a guideline saying because of the
In this
second,
lender-
Because they weren't married.
they weren't married.
Oh.
Which
But
the-
maybe they should have told them the setup, and then
maybe
they
they
would-
should have had you as the lender.
That's what they needed. They needed
need
a
the-
middleman. That's what they needed, and I'm the
needed-
perfect middleman.
I know what V stands for,
Yeah.
Tony V. It's VIG.
It's big, yeah. Listen, you guys do whatever you want. I just want to see 3 large a week. That's so bad.
no.
I'm trying to help here. You
And here's
came
the-
to me.
Here's the brown paper bag I wanted in, all right? Oh, boy.
Okay.
John, you might have to come back. We didn't get through everything that we thought.
No,
we
but I think we got a lot of stuff out there.
got a lot of stuff out.
Getting the thoughts, creative financing going.
Yeah.
Because
You
you
guys-
don't have to always go to a lender, and
And maybe they should see a real estate attorney, you know.
That's what I would suggest.
That's what I would suggest,
I
too.
would suggest that too.
Or a John Ternullo that's thinking outside the box for his clients, right?
Alternative financing that is legal.
Right.
It is legal.
You know, alternative everything is very in vogue these days.
Yeah.
So why not with finance?
Right.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
we're
that.
thinking outside. Yeah.
Should we leave with a quote from...
This is why we've done 200 shows.
200
it's taken
shows.
us 199 shows to get to this point.
Dun.
Nice. Congratulations on 200 shows again.
Congratulations.
Thank you, John. You've been on a bunch
Congratulations.
of those.
Thanks for
Fantastic.
having me.
John, can you come back next week? Or
can.
next couple weeks?
I'll be back.
All right. Thanks for joining us on the Real
Thanks,
Estate
John.
House Party. We got a lot more to talk about in the next couple weeks. Thanks for
Oh
joining
my
us.
God.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.